On November 8th, in a game between the Nuggets and Heat, this happened. It started with this play here. Bam went up for a layup, but he didn't get the foul call. Markieff Morris was standing at the three-point line in disbelief. As you can tell by the score, the game is basically over. But Markieff, pissed off at the no call on Bam and just pent-up frustration from losing, he went up to Jokic and threw an elbow at his ribcage. Expecting him to not retaliate, he turns his back and gets hammered. The result? A short scuffle with not much going on. Jokic got suspended for 1 game, Morris got fined for $50,000, and Butler got fined $30,000 for trying to escalate the fight. But it wasn't the fines or suspensions that caught everyone's attention. With Markieff's brother, Marcus, getting involved on Twitter by threatening Jokic, plus Jokic's brothers challenging him back, it's about to get interesting. How's it going, folks? My name's Andy, and today, let's break down everything that happened after this incident. How did the media react? How did the players and coaches react? But first, let's set the precedent for this situation. Both Markieff and Marcus Morris have a reputation in the NBA for getting into fights and confrontations. But most of the time, it's them initiating. You know, if they're pissed off at a certain play, they try to throw down. But it's usually a bunch of fluff. It's not just opposing players either, they've gotten into fights with their own teammates too when they get criticized. Just some ridiculously thin skin to lose your temper over something like that. Markieff even made a tweet that said he would never hit a man with his back turned, and yet he literally did that a while back when he hit DeMarcus Cousins. Markieff started this by hitting Jayshawn Tate, but then he got upset when Cousins retaliated for his teammate. It wasn't just during basketball games either. Back in 2015, the Morris twins got angry because a random dude was hitting on their mom, and they sent, according to them, an inappropriate text message. So they confronted the guy outside of a rec center in Phoenix to intimidate him. Not only that, but they called 3 of their other friends to go with them to see this random dude. One of them was a former NFL player. Like, seriously? You need all these massive dudes to confront one guy who tried to hit on your mom? Over the years, even as they got older, they've still been getting into fights and still initiating the first blow and backing off. I wouldn't call them dirty players, I guess, but they're definitely instigators. On the other hand, while Jokic himself has gotten into his fair share of scuffles, regardless if he's initiating or defending himself, he does not back down. It was evident with Devin Booker last year. Now, this play, it's completely Jokic's fault for whacking him in the face like that. He was frustrated and recklessly took out his anger. But when Booker tried to confront him, Jokic continues to walk towards him. Their teammates tried to get in their way, but he literally kept moving Booker off the court with his chest. Anyway, on Twitter, Jokic's brothers said they'd have his back, and being from the Balkans, there's a reason why "Don't mess with the Serbs" was a popular quote back in the day. However, we don't know too much about his brother's track record. I won't doubt their capability to fight, but we do know one of his brothers got arrested for choking a woman, which is a pathetic thing to do. Regardless, if you're wondering if Jokic got scared when Marcus Morris threatened him on Twitter, just remember what Jokic said back in 2017. Why be afraid? I am playing a game of basketball. I am scared of only one person in my life. That's my brother. Have you seen him? And yeah, he looks pretty freaking scary. In a theoretical fight between the Jokic brothers and the Morris brothers, I'd say the Jokic brothers have the upper hand. They seem to be taller and stronger. A longer wingspan helps in hand-to-hand combat. Plus, they get bonus points for growing up during a political conflict. The Morris twins have a lot more connections though, considering they have friends in the NFL and other sports who'd show up in a heartbeat to back them up. If it was a 2-on-2, they'd probably bring 5 other people. Also, if you're wondering how the entire Twitter conversation went, this is what happened. Shortly after the incident, Marcus Morris said this: "Waited till bro turned his back. Noted." The Jokic brothers, who never used Twitter before, made a brand new account just to respond to Marcus. They said, You should leave this the way it is instead of publicly threatening our brother. Your brother made a dirty play first. If you want to make a step further, be sure we will be waiting for you." Then Marcus clapped back. "You got the right ones, believe that." Then the Jokic brothers returned the favor. Reportedly, they even purchased tickets to the next Nuggets Heat game, scheduled to play on November 29th. I don't think any fisticuffs are gonna happen, but still, they're not playing around. They took the threat seriously, and they got their brothers back. However, the story gets even funnier though. Shortly after that exchange, Marcus tweeted, "Mama said don't talk on social media no more." Well, there you have it. I love you, Mama. On top of that, you had a lot of random moments after the altercation. Anyone see what Jimmy Butler was doing? There was a video circling around of Jimmy talking trash and threatening Jokic from across the court, while Jokic is just sitting down on the bench, not even paying attention. Jimmy, if you wanted to say all that to him, why didn't you confront him during the actual fight? I mean, you can see here Jimmy was already on the court, but all he did was run up to Jokic and softly push him to the side. Then, when they got separated and now far away, Butler started talking trash. I guess he didn't want that smoke. Then, there's this photo right here. Apparently, the entire Heat team was waiting to fight Jokic or something. Or, I don't know what they were doing. It just looks freaking ridiculous though. What the hell is Kyle Lowry even doing there? The media has been pretty good with this, for the most part. Shannon Sharpe has been saying that Jokic had the right to defend himself. The TNT guys also sided with Jokic. Shaq said, "When a little guy hits you, you gotta hit him back. Don't turn your head, because it's coming." Of course, you also had some guys, like for example, Mike Ryan on Dan's podcast, said that Jokic hit him for no reason. I mean, there was a reason, it's because he got hit first. A lot of those Heat homers on his podcast said stuff like that, trying to defend Markieff. They're called homers for a reason, though. Eric Spoelstra also defended Markieff, and this is what he said. "I thought Keefe took a foul, and it was one of those fast break take fouls, and he did it with his shoulder. You might deem that maybe as a little bit more than just the slapping stuff. Right after I watched it on film, it was a take foul. That's how I saw it, and the play after that, that's just absolutely uncalled for." Of course, the coaches always have his players back. Could Jokic have restrained himself and not hit him back? Of course he could have. But he also was right in retaliating after what he believed was a cheap shot. When Jokic was asked about his reaction, he said, "It's a stupid play, I feel bad. I'm not supposed to react that way. I got hit, I saw him, but I thought it was just gonna be like a take foul. But he bumped me and I was like, I think it was a dirty play and I just needed to protect myself." That's reasonable. Anyway, that's all folks. That was basically just a quick summary of this skirmish between Jokic and Morris, plus the aftermath. I'm honestly surprised the suspension was very short and the fines weren't that bad. I feel like in recent years, the NBA is letting players be more physical and giving them more leeway to argue, which I think is good for the game. What are your thoughts? I assume most people will side with Jokic on this one, but are you excited to see how this feud will develop in the future, especially with their brothers getting involved? Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and of course, as always, I'll see you next time. Peace.